Welcome back to another episode of the Ark Genesis Survival Guide. Today we are going to teach you how to fly in Ark Genesis. And yes, I know flying is disabled on Ark Genesis, and as you can see, flyers are totally useless. Unless you use this one trick I'm going to teach you in this guide, in which case you can fly anywhere in Ark Genesis. And this trick will not only let you fly, but you can also fly with infinite stamina, and you can fire a weapon while you're flying. Now, in order to use this trick, you'll need to be level 55 so you can make a Tapejara saddle, and you'll need to tame a Tapejara, which can be quite challenging. So I'm also going to show you an easy trick you can do as soon as you hit level 47 to fly using any tamed flyer, including a Pelagornis, which is very easy to get in the ocean biome, and that will be able to pretty much fly you around, but it is a bumpy ride. I'm also going to teach you some techniques to make sure you don't die in the process. I'm also going to teach you a really great trick that lets you basically fly across the entire ocean biome as soon as you hit level 9, which will be extremely helpful if you want to get a great base location and don't want to wait until you can build a raft. Now, I'm going to show you these tricks in the order that you can unlock them, so we'll start with the Archaeopteryx gliding, then we'll go over how to use a Pelagornis with a grappling hook, and then lastly I'll show you how to use a Tapejara to truly fly in Ark Genesis. So check out the description for the timestamps if you don't want to watch the whole video, but there will be some really helpful tips and tricks along the way, so I highly recommend you watch the whole thing. Also, I don't play on official, so I have not 100% confirmed this works on official servers, but it definitely works on my offline server with flyers disabled. Now, if you try this on official servers and it definitely works, please drop a comment to confirm that, because that would be really helpful. And if this video helps you, please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to enable all notifications, because we have lots of helpful Ark Genesis guides, tips, tricks, tutorials, let's plays, and live streams coming your way, and you won't want to miss any of that. So let's get started. So this first trick will be how to use an Archaeopteryx to glide in Ark Genesis, and really, did he just poop on my head? Thanks a lot. Okay, I am definitely going to accidentally drop him off a cliff as soon as we're done. Anyway, moving on, I'm going to breeze right through this first trick because I have an entire episode on my Ark Genesis Let's Play live series, which will show you how to tame an Archaeopteryx and use it to fly across the ocean biome and land on a nice mountain spot where you can build that's covered in metal. So it's a great, easy place to get metal that's totally safe, and it's a great place to stay away from other players if you're playing online. So check the link in the description of this video. It is about 10 minutes into that video that will show you how to tame and use an Archaeopteryx. But to go over it real quickly, you'll find some Archaeopteryx on the islands of the ocean biome, especially in the southeast island. I usually see a couple of them. Now technically you can tame an Archaeopteryx at level 1, but it's much easier if you make a bola at level 9, use it to immobilize the Archaeopteryx, hit it with a club, knock it unconscious, and then you can buy some cheap chitin in Helena's store and use that to tame up the Archaeopteryx really fast. It's like kibble for those guys, and it's the only thing they eat. And once you have one, you just pick it up, and anywhere you jump, you will glide really slowly down. I know that's not flying, it's falling with style, but it's still incredibly helpful, especially in the early game in Ark Genesis. Now, you will slowly lose altitude as you fly, but a lot of these mountains have grass growing on their edges, and anywhere you see grass, you can usually get a foothold and run up these slopes to get higher altitude. Now, if you jump at the top of the slope, you get even more height, and you can use that to fly around, find another foothold, and keep climbing higher. And eventually, you can make it to the top of some of the tallest peaks using this technique if you just keep on climbing. So if you want a base on the opposite side of the ocean biome, you can fly right there. Just make sure you eat all your food and drink all your water beforehand, because it's going to be a long flight. Now, once you hit level 22, you can also make parachutes, but it's much harder to climb on the mountains, and you're going to need a parachute each time you touch your feet on the ground, so it's going to be much easier and better with the Archaeopteryx. So now let's talk about some real flying using a grappling hook, which is unlocked at level 47. Now, a grappling hook is actually ammunition used for your crossbow. So you've got to have a crossbow. You need to actually make a grappling hook, which unlocks at level 47, and then you can use it to grapple onto things like trees, rock faces, and dinosaurs. Now, it won't work on small things like seagulls, but if you grapple onto something bigger like a Pelagornis, Pteranodon, Tapejara, Argentavis, any of those dinos will actually pick you up and carry you around. Now, you can technically use this even on a wild dinosaur, but you don't have any control over a wild dino, and it may not really take you anywhere. Now, where this trick becomes really helpful is if you actually tame something like a Pelagornis, which is very easy to tame on the ocean biome. You can just throw a bola when it comes down near the ground. That'll totally immobilize it, and then you can just beat it with a club, shoot it with a tranq dart, whatever you've got, knock it unconscious, and then drop some fish in its inventory, especially prime fish meat, which you can get from killing sharks, and it should tame up relatively easily, especially since you can get the lowest level Pelagornis, and it's just as good for this trick. Now, this trick will cost you one grappling hook per flight, so keep that in mind, but they're really not that hard to make. Now, even though we can't ride our Pelagornis, we can make it go where we want it to using whistle commands. So we're going to use the command to tell it to go to a specific location, which is this green arrow. It is a period or comma on PC, and then holding the top left bumper and down or up on the D-pad on console. Now, a flyer can be told to fly high up in the air or anywhere you want it to go, but it will not take off if it's already on the ground. So we want to whistle for this Pelagornis to follow us first until it takes off and starts flying, and from there we can actually whistle for it to go up in the air. And once it's in the air, we can grapple onto it, hit it with a grappling hook, and then use the fire button to reel ourselves in closer to it. It makes it a little easier to fly. And we want to very quickly whistle for it to go higher up in the air, otherwise it's going to start landing almost immediately, and then we've wasted that grappling hook. Now, a few things to keep in mind: if you do any damage to the dino you're grappled to, you're going to lose that grappling hook. Now, another thing to be careful of is make sure you don't just tell your dino to land on the ground, because if it goes too fast, you might actually take fall damage, and that can be quite fatal if you come from a high altitude. Keep an eye on the grappling hook line and make sure it's tight and you're kind of dangling from it, because if the bird is below you, you're basically considered in a free fall and you're just gonna die when you hit the ground. As you can see here, it didn't work out so well for me. Now, the better thing to do when coming in for a landing is whistle for your bird to fly to a destination that's relatively close to where you want to go, but still up in the air. And you can use the alternate fire button to reel yourself down lower and come in for a nice soft landing. Now, on PC, you can hit the C key, and on console, you can click the right-hand stick, which will actually drop and disengage your grappling hook. So you can free fall a little bit if you need to, and if you're just kind of stuck there in the air. But even though this is not the best flying technique in Ark Genesis, it certainly works, and it is way, way easier to tame a Pelagornis than it is to tame a Tapejara, which is what our next trick is going to be. But I've got to say, if you can pull off taming a Tapejara in the bog biome, it will be incredibly worth it, as I will show you right now. Now, you can find Tapejaras flying around the bog, and they just kind of float around in the air near the middle of the bog biome, usually near those glowing trees. And I'll put a link in the description to a lot of really helpful techniques for taming Tapejaras. I've got a really good guide on that, so check that out. You'll learn a lot of good stuff. But for this guy, I found him flying around near where we built our base in the Ark Genesis Live Let's Play series, and that's right around the southeast corner of the map. So I'll use the most basic Tapejara taming technique, hit him with a bola, and then just trank him unconscious while I'm trying to stay alive out here in the crazy bog. Now, the reason we're using a Tapejara specifically is because it has a very unique saddle. It has a passenger seat, driver's seat, and a rear passenger seat. Now, as you can see here, I am on the Tapejara even though flyers are disabled, but that's because I hopped on the front seat, not the driver's seat, and I can't actually control it while I'm doing that. but I can use whistle commands. The great secret to this trick is I'm not actually flying this Tapejara, but I'm still getting taken along for the ride. Now this is a bit tricky at first, so be sure to practice somewhere safe. It's really easy to accidentally tell your Tapejara to walk right off a cliff with you on board, and that can get pretty dicey. So first we're going to whistle for the Tapejara to follow us, and that way it will just hover in the air for a few seconds before it tries to land once it catches up to us. It has to be in the air when we hop on the seat. Now, while the Tapejara is still hovering, you need to quickly open its options menu using E on the keyboard or triangle, X, or Y depending on your console. And from there, you want to select passenger seats and board front seat, and then your character will hop on board. And as soon as you're on the saddle, immediately whistle for it to go to a point high up in the air, otherwise it's going to immediately land and then you have to start all over again. Because no matter what you do, if you're on the saddle when it's on the ground, it will not take off. Not even if you jump off a cliff. And we're just going to keep whistling, because if we don't keep whistling, it may try to land when it sees land down there. But we're just going to keep whistling in all the places we want it to go, and that's just going to keep giving it waypoints that it'll continue flying towards. If you whistle further away from it, it tends to go faster. And another great thing about this trick is we can pull out and fire weapons while we're in the front passenger seat. So you can actually knock dinos unconscious from the air, and you never actually have to touch the ground when you're either killing dinos or taming them. And it's an incredibly helpful tame. Now you can actually have someone in the back passenger seat while you're doing this trick too. And once you're in the air, it's really easy to just keep it airborne and it'll fly basically anywhere you want it to go, and it has unlimited stamina. So you can fly from one side of the map to the other without ever running out of stamina and ever having to land. And I've used this trick in pretty much all of my Let's Plays, and it's been incredibly helpful. The only downside is you can't maneuver it very well, and it will not sprint, so it's a slightly slower flight, but hey, it's flying, it's really flying, and it's on Ark Genesis, so, you know, it can't complain too much. Now with the Tapejara, you can actually tell it to land in a specific spot, and that'll be totally fine. It will eventually float around and land there, or you can just jump off. So that's definitely the easiest way to get around the ocean biome in Ark Genesis. And with this trick, you can actually have a whole air tribe flying around and live on top of some of these highest, biggest mountains without anyone bothering you. Or you can safely cross the volcano zone without ever having to touch the ground, which is going to be incredibly helpful. So that's how to fly in Ark Genesis. If you guys know any other cool tricks, please drop a comment and let me know if you have any questions about this guide. I always love hearing from you guys. Also, be sure to like this video if it helped you, and subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to enable all notifications, because we have so many helpful guides, tips, tricks, tutorials, live streams, and Let's Plays coming your way, and you're not going to want to miss any of that great information. So until next time, I hope your Ark Genesis adventures are safe and fun, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. That helps us so much. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to enable all notifications, because we have lots of awesome new Ark videos and live streams coming soon, and you won't want to miss any of them. You can do so many awesome things in Ark, but it is really hard to figure out on your own. Check out the links at the end of this video to browse our huge library of fun, clean, and helpful Ark guides, tips, tricks, live streams, and Let's Plays. If you would like to earn awesome rewards while supporting this channel, click the join button or link next to the subscribe button to learn more about our new channel memberships. You can also join our awesome Discord community at the link in the description of this video or on top of the channel homepage. And if you want to see my wife and I play lots of other fun video games together, visit our other YouTube channel, The Console Co-op Couple, using the link in the video description or in the channel homepage. And now I want to give a shout out to some of the biggest supporters of this channel: Sabo0283, Cole Parmenter, Wolfgirl Be Like, Austin Nagel, Kelly Razak, Black Silver Ride, and Emmy Fisher. Now, if you'd like to be a monthly supporter and get a shout out at the end of our videos, check out the join button next to the subscribe button for more information about that. And for everyone else, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.